Hi, welcome to the game plan. I'm Rico. Today I'm going to be doing a review roundup. This is the first time that I've done this. Essentially what it is, well, we didn't want to do just board game reviews here. A lot of other channels do that, and it's just not something we were particularly interested in doing. However, we did find value in sharing which games we've enjoyed, which games we haven't enjoyed, and I know a lot of people have said that putting negative reviews is just not worth the effort. I mean, it just takes a lot of time to do these types of videos and edit them and all that. And I understand why people would say, if I'm going to put through that kind of effort, I want to share something fun and positive that I've experienced more so than the negative. And I totally understand that. And I don't want to just go around bashing on a game or anything. But I do think there's also value in pointing out these particular games that I don't enjoy. But what I wanted to do was provide kind of a three-tiered system here, where one of them is, this is a game that for whatever reason, just swing and a miss, did not enjoy it. But here's a version that implements this a little better. It wasn't really a hit for me, but I can totally see how people would enjoy it, and I recommend you try. And then there's this game implements this perfectly. I just love this way, the way that this game has done it. And so with that in mind, we're going to start with number one, Legends of Andor. Legends of Andor was a swing and a miss for me. I did not enjoy it. I found the frustrating part for me was that the game introduced a lot of really interesting concepts, but because of the way it plays, you're very limited in what you're actually able to explore, well, literally and figuratively. So the game will give you the option of exploring fog, and you reveal monsters or items and things like that. There's the option to fight baddies as they come charging through your castle. You upgrade your equipment with merchants that you purchase with coinage that you've received from fighting. There's a lot. It's a lot of story driven, and it's very scenario based. So depending on the scenario, it plays out differently. But it's kind of interesting the way that as you progress through the game, there are cards that are semi-randomly placed out that when you approach that, you turn it over as a milestone in some event, or the story moves forward in some way. But we found that what we wanted to do as players is say, okay, I'd like to explore a little bit in the fog. I'd like to upgrade my guy a little bit. I'd like to fight the baddies. I kind of want to do all the things that the game is having me do, and I don't think that's unreasonable to want to do. But what we found is if you want to have any chance of winning, nobody can do it all, and really each thing one person kind of has to devote themselves to for the most part. Like, oh, the fog, well, we need to uncover things in the fog, we need to get access to these items, or the story requires that we find some unique thing. Oh, but only one of us is going to go into the fog, because if you send two people there, we're going to lose because of some other reason. And it's not like we could switch up, like this round or these 2 rounds you get to go into the fog, and then the next couple rounds I'll go into the fog. No, my character's all the way over the map. It was so handcuffing in what the game gave you and then what it actually allowed you to do while you're playing, that it just destroyed any fun for me. I want to be able to explore the game and do all the things and have the game encourage me to do so. And Legends of Andor does not do that. Very much disliked. In fact, the whole group ended up very much disliking that game. We did complete it. There was a fair amount of cheating, I guess, just to get through it, because we did not want to play scenarios over. But in the end, we decided this is just not a game for us. And over the years playing other games, I've found games that I think provide a similar feel. So a game that I think allowed you to explore what the game had to offer, and promoted you explore that, what the game had to offer much better than Legends of Andor, is a game called Vindication. Vindication, I can see how people really enjoy it, and I thought it was a good game. But what I ran into, and what I think what kept it from being an amazing game for me, is each player, while they can explore everything, it's kind of open, sandboxy in that sense that you can really go in any direction you want, and the game allows and encourages you to do so. When you set up the game, you have random kind of end game goals, as let's say. What triggers the end of the game is somewhat random, and it can be very much a disconnect from what the player themselves may be wanting to do. And so what you can find yourself in a situation where you're doing all the things you want to do and the game happily allows you to do so, but you're not actually moving the game forward. So you can be going turn after turn and building onto your engine or exploring whatever you're wanting, but realizing that the game is never going to end if you continue to do that. That disconnect for me kind of ruined, or at least prevented it from skyrocketing to what I would consider a great game. Now, they might balance that with an expansion or fix it with some errata or something like that. And I've heard other people express a similar concern about the game, but I think it's very random because as I understand it, you could play that game so many times and have those end game goals line up with the player goals, and it would feel very natural for the game to end as the players are wrapping up what they're trying to do. In that case, it probably would play out perfectly fine. But there are cases where that's not happening, and that's where it's kind of that middle one for me. I can see why people would like it, and I would recommend it to you if you like that exploration within your game. But it wasn't quite for me. But what was very much for me is Scythe, and that is my favorite game of all time. It's a little bit of a cheat, but I felt like it was really good fit here because Scythe is for me the best example of a game that encourages you to explore a lot of variability in what the game has to offer every time you play. In Scythe, the game will end when one player has placed their 6th objective. There's like little stars, you place little objectives on completing things. So an example might be deploying all of your mechs, or unlocking all of your workers, or building all of your homes, having battle. There's objectives, personal objectives. There's a whole series of things that you can go for, and not only can you, but you have to go for a wide range of them because you can't deploy all your mechs twice. You can only do that once. So most of them, and barring some very minor exceptions, you can only ever do once. And so the game forces you to explore and experience. And so not only does it encourage it, you must do it, but what the game provides you is so much more enriched by the fact that you can explore and viably explore all these options in order to do well, rather than having to focus like, oh, I guess I'm going to be doing this option this game because that's the only way I can do well. That to me doesn't embrace that exploration and that feeling of wanting to discover what's in front of me. So those are going to be my, I guess, review roundups. Legend of Andor, swing and a miss. Vindication, it's okay, and you may want to try it. I would recommend at least giving it a try. But Scythe, I think, does it perfectly. So let me know, what do you guys think? Played games similar to this? Have you played any of these three? Do you have, maybe I'm missing something in Legends of Andor, or Vindication has a variant that I'm not aware of. I'd love to hear about them in the comments below. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Thanks.